Welcome to Beyond the Badge. It's Women's History Month, and we're highlighting the women of CPD who make the department what it is, or who help make the department what it is. Today, I'm joined by Sergeant Danielle Danforth. She's part of our Violent Crimes Unit. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So, how long have you been in the Violent Crimes Unit?
So, since the beginning of Violent Crimes Unit, it was established 2023. So, it was made up of robbery, assault, and homicide, and they merged together and made us the Violent Crimes Unit. So, that's what we've been since 2023.
Okay, and you were before Violent Crimes, and
Yeah.
you were
I was in a robbery and assault unit. Yeah.
okay. And for how long?
For maybe even a couple months. Before that, I was in property crimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been on the third floor, which is investigative services, for some time now, and
Yes.
what has that transition been like for you? I'm assuming you did patrol before you
Yes.
came. Okay.
So, patrol has always been good to me. It was always my heart, but so in 2021 I got promoted to sergeant, so I spent a year as a patrol sergeant, and then in 2022 it was my calling to come upstairs, and so I accepted that calling and was moved to property crimes. But it was hard at first because, of course, you have an idea of what you want to do and something that you enjoy doing. I enjoyed going out there every day, beating the feet on the street, but it opened my eyes to go up to investigative services and do something different and get different experience and different training. So the transition at first, it was a little rough because in my head, I'm a little stubborn. I didn't want to do anything new, but you can't be complacent in life, so you always have to accept change. So it's been a good change.
That's real.
Yeah.
Change.
That's very real. Yeah.
That is something that I had to learn coming here too.
Yeah.
I've always adapted to change. Change is inevitable,
That's
to
right.
say the least.
That's right.
But when I came to CPD and I said, "Oh my God," I said,
Yep.
I don't know about change in this landscape. Maybe we have to rethink how we do it." But that is so
Yeah.
real. What is one big misconception that people have about violent crimes, like in the investigations for it?
I think that people think that you are numb to what you experience. Now, in this job, you do see a lot, so you do get a little numb to some things, but at the end of the day, people tend to forget that we are still human. So we try our best to keep the emotion out of the job, but sometimes it still does affect us with some things. But, that's why you always, I'm not sure, we can talk about religion, but me personally, I always just try and give things to God, just keep praying, come today every day to do my job. And when I go home, I leave the job and try and move forward in life. So yeah, I think the biggest misconception is that people tend to forget that we still are human when we are investigating these crimes, and no matter what type of crime it is, because it could be the littlest small theft that was close to you. Let's say you had a family member who had something stolen, like a heirloom that was very important, and you have a victim who has that same thing happen to them, and they're completely heartbroken, and that may touch you. That may bring you back to a memory of something that happened to you. So I think that people need to remember that we are human. We do have feelings. We're gonna put our feelings to the side when we're doing the job, but I think people do need to remember that we're very human. So we do feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is real too. Oh my God. I don't know if I've ever heard you talk this long. I love this.
I don't say much. I'm a woman of not many words, but when I do speak, I do try and
You're a
put a lot
hardworking woman
yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause we'll get into that.
Yeah.
We'll dive a little bit into that.
Yeah.
So when, you talk about being human and, you see certain things, tell us what constitutes as a violent crime so people can kind of get a general idea of what it is that you see.
So violent crime is we investigate robberies, armed robberies. We investigate suicides. We investigate aggravated assaults, and we investigate murders. So that is what makes up violent crimes, and those are the things that we investigate within our unit. So, yeah, a lot. It's a lot, but we, hey, as a team, we move forward. We do what we have to do. We get up every day. We come to work, and we just try and make somebody's life either good, or if it's a bad day for them, it's a bad day
It's
for
a
them.
bad day.
And it's a real bad day if we come in to
That's
knock at your
right.
door.
Because what did Glorilla say that time?
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
The day gotta end. So, yeah.
All right. I feel that. So you talked about earlier, just a few minutes ago, you talked about change and how at one point you were reluctant to it. And now that you talk about the different things that Violent Crimes investigates, what has changed your approach to how you do the job now?
I don't think I've really changed at all. I think I've always been the way I've been since I've started. Now, of course, I've grown, I've matured, I've experienced more, because keep in mind, I came in this job as a baby. I was 21 years old when I started. Didn't know too much of nothing about life, as they say. And so I think my approach has not really changed, because I still try and approach everything. You can't approach everything the same, but I still try and be as real and as honest as I can with victims and suspects. I'll talk to a victim, tell them what they need to hear, or tell them what I can share with them, and hopefully that brings them some peace, and then work as hard as I can, with the suspect, and then I'm gonna be real with them. I'm gonna give you your opportunity. If you don't take your opportunity, hey, that's on you, baby. That's not on me, because the job is gonna continue.
That's right.
And the work is still gonna be done. So if it lands with you going to Muskogee County Jail, it ends with you going to Muskogee County Jail. I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't stop if you don't want to talk to us. So, but I don't think my approach has changed. I think I've always been the same person, just have changed and matured a little, as I've moved up in age and as I move forward through my experience in this job.
Right. So we know that there will be additional officers or corporals who will eventually make it up to the third floor. And for someone like yourself who came from patrol to the third floor, there's got to be a skill set that people don't talk about enough that you may need to have when investigating these cases. What can you speak to that, like the skills that's needed?
I think the skill that you need is your communication skills. You have to talk to people. You can't just sit behind a desk and expect all the answers are going to come to you. So you have to get out there and talk to people in the community. And people in this community do appreciate when you come talk to them. Now, everything isn't always glitter and gold. You're going to have some that, of course, don't want to talk to you. But, hey, you just move past that. Just say, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for your time. Maybe another time I can speak to you. Give them a card. Give me a call if you change your mind. I think so. I think the biggest thing is communication and confrontation. You have to get over confrontation. Like, you cannot be scared. You can't let people intimidate you. So I think that is a big thing, as far as if you're coming from the street to up here, you got to have communication skills. You got to be able to talk to anybody at any time.
Okay, so that's a good point. And I think that even in my role of communications, I'm still learning every day.
Yeah. Right.
But that is real. So tell me now about like the leadership from your seat right now and your role as a sergeant. What does that look like for you right now and the people who work for you?
So as a sergeant in violent crimes, your job is to supervise who's in your squad. So right now I have 2 people that are made up of my squad, and my job is to supervise their cases and making sure they are doing their follow-ups. They're, investigating the case and not just putting it off or slacking off. So I have to make sure that they're out there making progress in these cases, and also I have to investigate my own cases. So I do have cases that I'm assigned that I have to do follow up. So it's a hard balance sometimes, but I think, if you have the determination and dedication, you'll get it done.
Right.
So
Are there any unique challenges that you face or that you feel like you've had to overcome? It can be as a sergeant, as a woman in a unit, as, you know.
I think that, well, first of all, as a woman in this job, as a woman in this job, and you have to get over thinking somebody's going to be soft with you, thinking somebody's going to talk to you. Oh, it's okay. It's all right. No, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to stand up for yourself. So I think that is important as a woman. Now, I'm not saying that, I've ever experienced any bullying. I've always had great coworkers. Men have always at my job have always at our department, looked out for females. I've never seen a man not protect a female at at our department. So but I still think, you have a voice as a woman in this job. So you can't let within your agency people talk down to you, and you can't let, once you on the street answering calls, make it seem like you're intimidated by a man who is upset. You're responding to a domestic, and this man may be upset and he's coming at you. No, you need to be able to stand your ground. So I think, as a female, you need to be able to stand up for yourself in this job, because people will try and run over you, because people always have their thoughts about women. They think women are weak.
Fragile.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you got to show that you are not that. And I'm also say something, if you don't mind, but it's going to be very real. As a woman of color and as a person of color in a city that is predominantly black, you also have to ignore the comments that you're going to hear from your own people, because we do get the comments. We do get the, oh, y'all racist too. Y'all don't believe nothing we got to say. Y'all are Uncle Tom's, X, Y, and Z, and oh, you they monkey. Like, I've heard it all. But at the end of the day, you have to, you have to ignore it. At the end of the day, you're doing your job. I'm sorry you having a bad day because you decided to drive drunk or speed or whatever the case may be. But that has nothing to do with me. You stepped out the door, put on your pants like I do, and made the decision to go out and do that. So I think that is another thing that I've had to overcome. And I've been okay with that. I move forward with that, and it is what it is.
Girl, that's real.
Yeah,
That is very real. So when you're talking about being a woman, a black woman in this profession, who are some of the women who came before you, or past or present, that has influenced you? Because assuming they've had to endure some of the same.
Yeah. So I've always worked with some great women. Let me just put that out there. The women down at CPD are very hardworking. They're very dedicated. But one in particular, Major Barker Wright.
Okay.
So Major Barker Wright, I saw a woman that looked like me in a position that, I may or may not want to be in one day. We see as time goes, but I just saw a woman that, worked hard. She was in that position, over administrative services down in our department, which that comes with a lot. And I just strive to have a goal that, I want to be in charge of something one day. I want to try and make a difference as I move along in whatever position that I'm in. So whether, that started as an officer, and you go to being an FTO, or you go to being a corporal, and then a supervisor. So as you, move up, I saw how, a lot of people at the department were impacted by her. I've always heard good things about her. I've never really heard any bad things about her. So she was one woman at the department that I definitely look towards as a mentor.
Good. So you were supervisor of the quarter. What was it, last year? Last year. Well,
Yes.
we're into, yeah,
Last April, I think.
last April.
This September. Yeah.
Huh? It was September or April?
You know, y'all do it by quarter.
Okay,
April through
yes.
September. Yeah.
So you were supervisor of the quarter in April, but the ceremony was held later that year. And you were chosen because of a case. We can't really get into the specifics of the case because it is still open, but an arrest has been made. It's not gone to trial. But I will say the case was not originally yours.
Yeah.
It was someone else's
Yeah.
who left the violent crimes unit because they got promoted and it was given to you.
Yeah.
You took that case, read it from the very beginning up to the point where you jumped in.
Yeah.
You were able to develop suspects.
Yeah.
And as Lieutenant Losi would say, all gas, no brakes.
That's right.
In
That's
an
right.
email. And I only heard from your coworkers about the work that you put in, going back and forth to a city outside of our jurisdiction to, schools that
Yeah.
these individuals were
Yeah.
attending at the time. And I said, Danforth did what? I said, she's ballsy. And, looking at that, because it was a pretty big case. And like I said, I can't really get into the specifics of it, but how is it carrying the weight of something like that and being able to just show up every day? Because I, for one, I was very proud of you.
Thank you.
When
I
your name
appreciate
came
it.
up,
I
because
appreciate
I
it.
always feel like you're just, I'm not saying like soft spoken, but like we said earlier,
Yeah.
you're not a woman of many words, but you're like a dog
Yeah.
when it comes to sniffing out things. So
Yeah.
tell me, how was that for you? Because I feel like that was a big weight to carry, and
Yeah.
you still showed up every day.
Yeah. Well, I'm a say I'm a wolf.
Okay.
I'm a
Excuse
wolf
me.
that is in a pack, and that pack is the violent crimes unit. So I can't be and do what I do without the help of the people in my unit. Now, granted, I am the sole person who will have to get on the stand and testify to the case, but like I mentioned then, and like I'm gonna mention again, there's nothing that I do that I don't have assistance and the help of the team in the violent crimes unit behind me. So when I was going place to place, I had people going place to place with me. These people in my unit had the same drive and dedication as I do, and wanted to solve that case. Just overall that case, it just didn't. We wouldn't feel right as with any case, but specifically someone innocent to be caught up in something that had nothing to do with them is just, and had so much life to live, that's just not right. So I think, and a lot of men and women in the unit are parents, so all you can think of is your child that night going out having a good time and something tragic happens. That could have been their child. So I think we all put aside of, well, we got to go where we got to go to solve this. And that's what I decided as, being in charge of the case. I said, I told LT, Lieutenant Losi, I got to go here. I got to go there. I got to go talk to this person here. And, of course, he's always guided and leaded us and says, do what you have to do to solve the case. If you have to go to these places and I'm able to grant you to go in my power, then you go. So I took that, and like I said, it wasn't just me and my partners in my squad and my unit.
The wolf pack.
Yeah, the wolf pack. We protect the sheep,
That's
as
right.
they say. But we got in the car. We put the miles on the road and went and got the answers that we needed to solve it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really amazing.
Yeah.
So you had people to come before you, past and present, to who you look up to, inspire you. Lieutenant Losi now, Major Wanda Barker, right? You got a team with you that goes with you, not
Yeah.
just behind you, but for backup or stand beside you to
That's
help
right.
get what you need. And I think that is so amazing. What would you say to any person, boy or girl, who would have any interest in being in law enforcement or investigations one day? What type of words would you give them for encouragement?
Make sure that it is something that you want to do, and make sure that you have a passion to do it and to continue to do it.
Okay.
Because you like I said, we're human. You're gonna get burnt out. You're gonna get tired. But this is something that you have to have passion to do. You can't just wake up every day and just say, this is just a job. This is not a job. This is more than a job. You have people's lives in your hands, and you need to take it very seriously. So I say, wake up and make sure you are dedicated to what you're assigned to do within your job.
Girl, this is good. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate everything you do. I'm so proud of everything that you bring to the table and standing on your own and, having an amazing team behind you. I am proud of you.
Thank you. I
happy
appreciate
Women's
it.
History Month to you. And
Thank you. Thank
ooh,
you.
girl, this is good. I can't wait till we can put
I'm a real one from the real 706.
You're from Columbus.
I'm from Augusta, Georgia,
Oh,
baby. Okay. I'm from Augusta, Georgia.
She said the real 706.
The real
And I
706.
said Columbus. It's okay.
Mm-mm.
It's not okay.
I'm from Augusta, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
But see, did this job bring you to Columbus?
It did.
Why didn't I ask you where you were from earlier?
I don't know.
I
But
don't know
I just
why.
had to put it out there. That's where I'm from. Never forget. You never
thought you were
forget
from
where you come
here.
from. Nope.
Ooh, Brittany was all wrong. Okay, so I was about to wrap this up, but since you want to keep
Okay.
going,
All right.
so you've been in Columbus how long? How many years now?
So since I started this job, so 12 years.
12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't go back.
No, I'm not going
Okay, I was about to say. So make sure you shout out everybody at
That's
home.
right.
Anybody at home you want to shout out?
My
Listening and
dad,
watching?
my grandma, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, and my sister. She's not in Augusta, but my sister, that's my backbone.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Augusta, for letting us have one of your own, even if it's temporary. But we love her here. We want to keep her here. Y'all should come up and see us too. Okay? Maybe y'all should.
Yeah, that's my people from Augusta, but I have my own family here. So
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Okay.
So.
Well,
me and my partner, we about to have a little one, so wish us luck.
all right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you reveal the gender?
It's a girl.
All right, it's a girl. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm happy. I'm happy. Maybe y'all can name her Brittany or no. Look, what would you do with more Britneys? I'm serious. All right, well, congratulations. I'm
Thank you.
super proud of you and
I
your
appreciate
partner, and I know your family is proud of you,
Yes.
and everything that you're doing, because I know that we're proud of you here at CPD as well. Thank you, and thank you all for joining us on Beyond the Badge, and see you next time.